Hello YouTube family. Since my last post about the tragic death of son of Chimamanda Adichie, acclaimed, much respected, much admired Nigerian author, many of you have reached out to me. A sequel became inevitable. Let me state that I am not unaware of the very challenging circumstances in which Nigerian doctors labor to provide dutiful and even exceptional care. For 20 years, I was one of those doctors. Next year, it will be 40 years since I graduated, so my medical career has literally been split down the middle, working on both sides of the Sahara Desert. This is not a time for the profession to be defensive. So girls and boys, I hereby appeal. Let us lower our defenses. This is not about throwing the baby out with the bathing water. Your good work is not unnoticed. We are in this together. On my honor, I promise. If at the end of this saga, all that happens is that an anaesthetist is suspended, it will be an unsatisfactory outcome for me. In Nigeria, we do not have enough anaesthetists, so we cannot afford to lose yet another from the pool. This anaesthetist needs support, and only if the outcome of the investigation demonstrates outright maleficence, I would respectfully recommend that this anaesthetist be supported to return to work. Caveat: there is a formula and a framework around which this may happen, but that is the subject of another conversation. None of us doctors get up in the morning and go to work with the intention of killing our patients. Exceptions like Harold Shipman are few and far between. From the beginning of my anaesthesia career, I can clearly remember the events surrounding every patient I was involved with who died in the operating theatre, because every single one of those events scarred my soul. Again, if at the end of this investigation, and we may not preempt the investigation, but worst outcome scenario, a hospital is shut down, it will still not be a satisfactory outcome for me. So what exactly is it that I'm looking for? I am hoping that the tragic death of little Nkanu Nnamdi Esege can birth an Elaine Bromiley moment for the medical profession in Nigeria. Elaine Bromiley was an Ozemena moment for the medical profession here in the UK. Ozemena being the Igbo word for may it never happen again. I'm aware that if you're not a UK anaesthetist, you've probably never heard of Elaine Bromiley before, so permit me to be a bit of a storyteller. Elaine Bromiley was a 37-year-old healthy mother of 2 children, married to Captain Martin Bromiley, an airline pilot with a background in human factors. In 2005, Elaine came into an NHS hospital for a routine operation on her sinuses. That operation never took place. During the anaesthesia, which was managed by competent senior anaesthetists, a complication developed. It was not possible to secure her breathing passage. The oxygen levels in her blood dropped catastrophically and stayed low for too long. By the time the decision was taken to abandon the operation and transfer Elaine to the intensive care unit, she had suffered irreversible brain damage. She died 13 days later. Devastating story, right? I have been in the same room and listened to Captain Bromiley tell this story at least twice. Even though I know the story and how it ends, it has still not stopped me from shedding a tear or two. I have posted the link below to the YouTube video where Martin tells the story himself. If you are someone who truly wishes for this to become an Ozemena moment, I encourage you to watch that video. Any ordinary man will be forgiven after this for hating us doctors and hating hospitals. But Captain Martin Bromiley is no ordinary man. With his background in human factors, he recognized during the investigation that similar factors that cause over 75% of accidents in the airline industry were at play in the events leading to his wife's death. Factors such as a breakdown of situational awareness, a breakdown of prioritization, decision-making, communication, etc. Now here lies the difference. The airline industry recognizes and accepts the importance of human factors. They are trained to incorporate this recognition into their processes, such that human factors is part of the daily language of the industry. By contrast, at the time of Elaine Bromiley's death, human factors was barely a thing in clinical practice. Since then, Captain Bromiley has campaigned tirelessly, working with various medical bodies to recognize and incorporate human factors into medical training, to transform the NHS culture with regard to accepting that mistakes are inevitable, and that they should be learned from, not covered up or punished. To be able to say to his children, since Mummy died, the medical profession changed for the better. Each time I have listened to Martin, there is such magnanimity of spirit in his presentation that I have come away saying to myself, that is how I want to be when I grow up. The staff involved in this incident were all supported to return to work, recognizing that based on personal experience, they would become the best advocates. Today, here in the UK, all our trainees know about human factors and in some shape or form would have attended training. As a profession, we now regularly talk about the importance of non-technical skills and how these may influence the outcome of what we do way more than our technical expertise. It has been a long walk to get here, and it has taken a multi-sectoral, multidisciplinary approach. Many of you who reacted to my last post echoed the wish of Ozemena. We have to make Ozemena happen, as individuals and as a collective. Dr. Alan Onyama, CEO of Airpeace, I call on you to please step forth, sir. You have always come through for Nigerians. There is a lot that medicine has learned in this country from the airline industry. That learning is eminently reproducible. The airline industry has so made its processes safe that at the time of takeoff, many of us are busy on our devices, watching the screens or chatting. Human beings did not evolve to fly. Taking a whole group of humans against gravity into the sky, traveling a distance and bringing us down safely is a feat of science. Thinking through and planning for all the possibilities before starting is an integral part of the culture of the airline industry, which needs to become part of medicine right from medical school training. SAN Olisa Agbakoba has led the charge from the legal minds, calling for reform of healthcare regulation and a framework for clinical governance. As medical professionals, the job we do is challenging wherever we work. The challenges are just different. That the Nigerian healthcare system is broken is unfortunate and sad, but that does not mean that we become unaccountable. It does not mean that we should not know our limits. So as a profession, I believe we should join in the call for a complete overhaul of our regulatory system. And now to the elephant in the room. And folks, please stay with me until the end. You cannot divorce the overall ecosystem in which doctors practice from the behaviors that those doctors exhibit. What do I mean? I am completely in support and believe that it is time for the democratization of medicine. But how are we to democratize medicine in the current political system in Nigeria, which, for want of a better description, is a feudalistic oligarchy masquerading as a democracy? The loud and clear signals coming from our political leaders is that it is okay to not be accountable. The hierarchy does not wish to be questioned about any of its actions by common citizens. In fact, we are not citizens, we are things. So are you surprised that Nigerian doctors almost feel insulted if patients question or even seek further explanation about the decisions the doctors have made about their treatment, their own bodies? I am often sadly amused at the thinly veiled impatience I hear in the voices of colleagues whenever I have to call to inquire about the care of a family member or friend. Updating the family is not something we are trained to regard as an integral part of clinical practice in Nigeria. Our people say that when a fish wants to rot, it starts from the head. You cannot expect a medical profession that is transparent, honest, accountable, and willing to learn from its mistakes in a political system that is opaque, dishonest. Political leaders dodge debates because this involves giving account of themselves or their stewardship. Ministers insult professionals who disagree with them to the extent of calling them a fool in public and refuse to own their mistakes and apologize. Everything is connected. Everything is connected. The famous basketball player Michael Jordan is credited with this quote: "Some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, others make it happen." If we want Ozemena, then we must think Ozemena, speak Ozemena, act Ozemena, and certainly in the next election cycle, vote for leaders who will make Ozemena happen. Ozemena may never happen again.